Due to my circumstances, I had to... Due to my circumstances...
Can I say Georginois? No, I'm not allowed to say that. No.
They won't understand.
Ni hao, washer, Mark Murphy. That's just been practicing a little bit of language there. Good to be back in Singapore at my drum school doing a long stint of exams. I've only been here for short visits due to circumstances and other commitments in other countries on my tours. But this year I got a big long patch, so I've got to settle in and really take in the essence of the whole thing. It's just been awesome. The students have been great, staff have been great, and there's been some incredible results happening. So the exams have been going really well. I think it's a record amount of students who have sat this particular series, the July series. It's 170 or above, 170 plus students, and that's an incredible amount. I'm pretty sure it's a record for MDS, which is awesome. It means that they're doing really well. The quality's been superb, as per usual, which is the thing that surprises me in that MDS is getting so big, but they've still got the quality. That's what can be a little bit surprising sometimes, in a good way. That's an awesome way. There's been some great results, and I've got to catch up with some old faces. Brendan, who I've examined before in the past, and he's just recently done grade 7. It's about a decade that I've been travelling out here to Singapore and working with alongside my drum school, doing their examinations and stuff. And it's been a really good growth for both parties, I think, because MDS is clearly kicking goals. It's gone up to 4 centres now and a 5th potentially on the way, and students' numbers through the roof. And the grades are actually, 10 years ago it was grade 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and now it's like that plus up to grade 8 and diplomas and the whole lot. So we're seeing the whole span of the exam levels now. I think one of the things that is really pleasing for me, just personally as a musician and an examiner, is the way that so many of the conversations we had in the early days of picking each other's brains and learning from each other, and the resources that we've put together with ANZCA, that is the syllabus resources, as in general knowledge book and technical workbook and sight reading and all those things that support the syllabus. I'm now seeing the circle, where it's all coming to fruition. It's all working now because all the resources are there and the teachers are actually using them, not just ignoring them, and it's all working, so they're getting great results. It's been an awesome journey. So the MDS as a group and as a music school has got the most diplomas going around this region by a mile, which is awesome. We had Jenny, who's been, I believe, the longest serving employee here at MDS, and she's off the tools, so to speak, these days. She's in the office doing HR and all kinds of other tasks. And for her to be dedicated enough to swing back and do the diploma exam is a very cool thing. I've known Jenny for a long time and worked in with her when she's facilitated examinations and things like that. And I've examined her quite a few times, so to get the privilege and the pleasure of doing her final diploma exam was just awesome. She killed it. It was great.
I started practicing for my diploma about 4 years ago, but I found out that I was expecting. There was an opportunity for me to move on to the head of HR role at my drum school, and so I did. I started working at the HQ from then on. I knew I had to finish my diploma, but due to my circumstances, I had to postpone it and put it on hold. I completed my grade 8 exam while I was still a full-time educator in 2014. It would have been easier if I were to complete my diploma while I was still teaching. Back then, I would have more hands-on the drums due to my day-to-day teaching schedule. Having the 3-year break, it definitely affected my progress a lot. I used to take the exams every year from grade 4, 5, 6, 7 and then finally to 8. Which gives me a lot of momentum. I used to be able to work on something regularly, but having this break makes me difficult to achieve it. I can't play as fast as I used to. For example, a simple left-right kick combination took me hours to practice before I could bring it up to the required tempo and before I could even move on to the rest of the solos. And to make it worse, my current job scope doesn't allow me to be on the drums constantly, and as I have to meet people daily, and I have to deal with the operations in the office. It is helpful when I have colleagues and other drummers who are taking the exams together with me, which creates an environment to motivate each other, to encourage each other and spur each other on. I do get a lot of support from colleagues who attain their diploma, and they give me tips and pointers on how to overcome my challenges. It is important for someone who have completed the exams to help you and guide you through your grades. And at the end of the day, it's still a lot of hard work and practice to put into the examinations, and I'm thankful that I have finally completed and attained my diploma.
James Gunawan was awesome as well. He really cleaned up in the exam, and it's worthy of mentioning that he's the manager of a centre in his own right. So that means that all the MDS managers now have their diploma, which is awesome. James did a great job. He's a very busy man. He runs a school with several hundred students, and he still managed to even write an original composition and notated it beautifully as well, and performed it really well.
For my grade 9, I decided to do an original composition. Previously, I've had an experience with doing an external piece for my grade 8 and grade 7 because I wanted to explore something different from the exam pieces and also to expand my vocabulary. The piece is called The Nate's Wheel. This piece is heavily inspired by my favorite drummer, Nate Smith, because I've always admired his playing for the past few years. The reason why I try to compose this piece is to learn his vocabulary and like how he expressed himself in doing odd time signatures. There's one song by Chris Potter called The Wheel, and Nate Smith is playing in that song. So I've always wondered how he can phrase his playing into something that's so musical that you cannot even tell that it's in odd time. Everything sounds so natural and it flows smoothly. So I decided to pick a few of his vocabulary and then try to put it into a composition so that I can learn more about his style and his way of playing. You know, initially when I heard the song, everything sounds so simple yet so good. So I didn't really know how difficult it could be until I tried to do a little bit of transcription to understand what's going on. But as soon as I tried to pen it down, I realized there's a lot of things going on, and one particular part of the solo that I find really challenging is the ghost notes. Because ghost notes usually are not really heard during the piece, especially when you are doing it really fast. But then once you try to write down all the ghost notes, you realize that there's some kind of strange coordination that's going on that I've never even thought it's possible to happen. So in order to overcome this, I have to practice really slowly and even practice less than half the speed of the song to try to figure out how the movement goes. When I present it to the examiner, I feel a sense of achievement because I've really tried to push my limit, even though in the end I couldn't really play as fast as it's supposed to be. But I've learned new vocabularies and I've learned to train my ears better in listening to different rhythms. I'm glad that I have spent a considerable amount of time to learn and compose this original piece because I feel that I have invested enough time to do something that I love. So for anyone out there who is considering to compose his or her original piece, please go ahead because you will learn so much from doing this thing.
I wish this whole school and all the organisation all the best. I know personally that they have some pretty big plans. I don't know all the details, but I know they have some visions, and I've got no doubt those visions will become a reality because I've seen what's happened in the 10 years up till now, and I really hope that they go well. And for the students, I want to wish them all the best as well and thank them for their practice and dedication and their effort. It really does mean the world to me when I'm sitting there examining and I think straight away, well, this kid's done their practice. It's just awesome. So I wish you all the best with your musical journey, and to all the parents who bring their kids to these lessons every week and pay for their exams and that, good on you. You're doing a great job for your kids. All the best to all my Singaporean friends. Thank you for having me here again. Keep that Kiasu spirit because it's working wonders with your exam. Sai Chen.